Phoenix Splash TV. Well, hello there guys and gals, it's time for some more musician talk. When it comes to influence, there's probably no single Japanese musician to have as much of an effect on the world than Hide. Some Hide fans might not like to hear the comparisons between him and Kurt Cobain, but both of their deaths caused an end of an era in rock and roll music itself. Whether it's Hide's presence that you're appalled by or his music, or both, no one can deny the influence Hide has on people today. Heck, many of his newer fans weren't even born when Hide was alive. That's the kind of draw Hide and his music still has till this day. Now, most J-Rock fans know that Hide was one half of a guitar duo in the most famous band to come out of Japan, X-Japan, but he actually started somewhere else. His first band was called the Yokosuka Saber Tigers. This band was by no means a big deal, so it's surprising that there exists footage of them. It's also noteworthy to mention that the singer and the drummer of this band went on to form Der Langer. It's kinda cool to see that this is pretty much where they all got started. Unlike many rock and rollers who never finished high school, Hide actually finished college and got his beautician license, which of course, as you can see, he used to his advantage for his career. After Saber Tiger kept switching members at consistent rates, Hide grew tired of it. No one wants to be in a band like that. Hide left Saber Tiger and found something else. That something else was X-Japan. Now, there's no information on how Yoshiki and Hide first knew each other, but Hide was giving a role above the others. I mean, let's face it, X-Japan was and still is Yoshiki's baby, with him doing most of the composing and lyric writing for the band. But for some reason, Hide was allowed to write music for X-Japan more often than the other members. Bass player Taji would sometimes write for X as well, but not as much as Hide. These include Joker, Scars, Celebration, and one of my favorite songs of all time, Love Replica. X-Japan went on to become probably the most popular rock and roll band to come out of Japan, and this is where Hide started growing his fan base. Hide was given some creative control, not only in music composition, but also in live aesthetics, and probably music videos. Fans also noticed Hide's technical skills. When I first saw X-Japan, I was really impressed with the harmonies in the guitar solos by Pada and Hide. It was one of the first times I saw this style of playing, and you can tell that they were both professionals at their craft. Because of this style of composition and the technical skills of the members themselves, fans would sometimes pick their favorite member and shout their names at their concerts. During X-Japan and after X-Japan, Hide did solo projects. This is where Hide really got to shine and his songwriting really came out. It was kind of interesting that even though Hide had the technical skill to play speed metal, his solo projects opted him to play in a more alternative rock style. Sometimes Hide wouldn't even play the guitar live and he would just sing. If you're into his solo work, then you've probably heard of Hide with Spread Beaver, and of course Zilch, Pink Spider, Junk Story, Rocket Dive, and Breeding were among the few of some of my favorite songs from Hide's solo days. Most of his solo work would receive much success after his death. Now let's talk about Hide's death, which is always in debate for many fans and forums. Hide was found dead in his apartment, hanging from a towel attached to a doorknob. Some people argue that this is a failed autoerotic asphyxiation. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's pretty disgusting. Other people claim that it is an intended suicide. Hide didn't leave a suicide note, which might leave a ton of people baffled. Of course, fans say that his suicide note comes from one of his final songs, Pink Spider. There are a ton of other theories and crazy ones, like one has something to do with Yoshiki and some supernatural entities. I choose to believe what former X-Japan bass player said about it. Taiji Sawada noted that him and Hide would do a neck and back relaxation technique to ease the pain from holding a guitar for hours upon hours. This technique involved a towel and a doorknob. Taiji believes that Hide fell asleep while intoxicated and got caught up and ultimately died. Regardless of how, many copycat suicides were reported afterwards. His funeral had a huge turnout, and X Japan even reformed to play one last song for their fallen friend. After Hide's death, his legacy continued to grow. In the new version of X Japan, you can kinda tell that a lot of their lyrics revolve around Hide. Songs like IV and Born to be Free, just to name a few. There was even a tribute concert where some already disbanded bands got back together to play in his memory. There was a museum that opened up in Yokosuka dedicated to him. There are continued projects in memory of Hide even till this day, including an unfinished Hide song recording. With the power of Vocaloid technology, Yamaha was able to finish Hide's unfinished song titled Oh Gal. As a whole, Hide is one of the best composers I've ever heard. Though Rocket Dive, Pink Spider, and Scars get a ton of praise, my favorite song composed by Hide is Love Replica. I pick it because I think that it really shows off his diversity in composition. Hide had a classical side that was very different to Yoshiki's classical side, and I really wish we got to see it more. So, have you ever heard of Hide? If you have, what are some of your favorite songs by the guy? Leave it in the comments below. A special thanks goes to Wen Sun, who suggested I do a video on Hide. She also suggested I do one on Sugizo, but I don't want to put them in the same video, so Sugizo will probably get his own video in the future. If you want me to talk about another musician or band, leave that in the comments below too. If I don't know the band, I'll usually do a video titled First Impressions to see if they make a good first impression on me. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and this is Game Analyzer, signing off.